All right, what's up, everybody? Happy Saturday, happy game day. And before my guest Max comes on, just want to explain what the hell is this going on behind me. Well, as I mentioned on my Wednesday show, we got our first sponsor. Ladies and gentlemen, you see there up on that side, La Espumita. What is Espumita? Well, if you're not from Miami and not familiar with the Cuban culture and Cuban coffee, basically it's what makes Cuban coffee as sweet and as special as it is. It separates Cuban coffee from that regular ass American boring drip coffee that we all like. So let me just give you guys a quick plug of that. Share my screen real quick. All right, so there you have right here the Espumita Bites. You can add that to your coffee. It foams up, makes it nice and sweet, or you can enjoy it as a snack. And then you got Espumita in these jars right here. You can add that to your coffee as well. I will add the link in the description box once I'm done with the live stream. But please go check it out. Guys, a buddy of mine that started the company, great people. You follow them on Instagram. You can go to shopespumita.com and everything's there. They got merch, they got t-shirts, everything you need. So now I'm done with that shameless plug. All right, so back to business. Today is game day. We got, even though it's not the biggest opponent on our schedule, we've got we got Central Connecticut State University, if I have that right, CCSU. It's not the biggest opponent, not an opponent to get fired up about, but I am fired up about this game. And I know a lot of diehard Cane fans are too, because finally, yes, Al, ready to tackle any tires? Yeah. I heard in practice this week that, there was a lot less hitting giant donuts and tackling each other. So, Cane fans are really excited about, some of the young guys that are finally going to get some burn. That's why I'm excited. And this will actually be my first game of the season because I wasn't able to go to the first two. So, my guest has arrived. Let me pop him in here.
Yo.
What's going on, man?
Nothing, man. Early in the morning, but it's Cane's game day. I always get up early.
Nice, man. Yeah, I know you told me you're a nervous wreck for these games. Probably not as much today.
No, I'm excited. I'm excited to see the young guys play.
Yeah. I was just saying, I think that's what a lot of people are excited about the most today. It's not so much obviously the competition, although I think most fans are excited to finally get a 40 or 50 point win. We've been, get a little break today, but I think I'm excited about seeing TVD and Garcia play, and a lot of the young guys on defense as well. Is there anybody aside from quarterbacks, obviously, that you're excited about seeing in particular?
Chase Smith.
Yeah, Chase. I wrote down a lot of the guys that either haven't gotten a snap or have barely played. Chase Smith is one of them. You got Big Baby. You got LT, Kinchins, James Williams, Avery Huff, Romello Brinson. There's a lot. So, but here's what I'm wondering, and probably what a lot of Cane fans are wondering. If certain guys ball out today, are they going to get that playing time Thursday night when it matters?
Yeah, that's the big question. That's the big question that everybody should be asking, and I think the answer needs to be yes. I think at this point in the season, like Flo said on his little impromptu show last night, or it was during the day. That's the only way Manny can attempt to save his job, is to play the young guys and win. The only way.
I think he would have to win out, or at least go 9-3. Finish out the season with 9 wins, win the Coastal, and he would have. And I don't think he would get that done with the guys that have been playing.
Nope.
Because I don't know if you've noticed this, but all these guys that I just mentioned, and there's more, the fact that they haven't even gotten a chance to play I think that burns out the starters because like Cam Harris, Rhett Lashley came out and said that, yeah, Cam probably got too many carries. It's like, yeah, no shit. He was in there the whole game. Like,
Yeah, 88 of 90 snaps.
What running back nowadays, college or pro, does that?
Nobody.
Yeah. So I don't get it. I stopped trying to understand the logic of this coaching staff. What do you think would take? What do you think it would take in the next couple of weeks for them not to make any changes? Like, do you think a 1-point victory against a sloppy win against Virginia will be enough for him to keep his job, or do you think it has to look impressive?
No, it's all about optics at this point. You got to look like the team's improving. The team belongs. You can't be skating away at 1-point wins like we've done in the past. I mean, we haven't really blown teams out outside of the Duke game, which should have happened since Manny's been here. You got to start blowing people out, and if it's close wins, the optics don't look good. I mean, you got to deserve to be there.
Mm-hmm. No, 100%. Because the only way I'll believe we have a shot in hell against North Carolina is if we come out there Thursday night and put a little 2-touchdown whooping on Virginia. Because, like I've said for years, yes, they have a very solid team. Armstrong's looking good at quarterback. They flat out do not have the athletes that we do. So I don't know if that's going to show or not. Hurricane 92 says everyone has to be at least 14 plus, and we got to beat UNC. Yeah. If that happens, we win blowout today, some of the young guys play, and then, maybe they earn some playing time. Maybe TVD is the second coming. That would be great. Or maybe Garcia, who knows? And he takes us into Chapel Hill and wins. I think that alone might help Manny keep his job. But I'm torn. I don't know how you feel about this. I'm torn about that. I don't know if I want that long-term for this program. Because I already know he's not the guy.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm torn, man. Obviously, we follow these young men throughout the season. We care about them. We want them to win. But it's almost like you follow an NFL team. It's like you want to tank for the number 1 pick. That's almost what it feels like.
Exactly. It's the same situation.
Yeah, man. So yeah, we'll see. And you're a little bit more in the know what's happening behind the scenes. Obviously, Kane's Twitter went nuts yesterday with all these BS rumors, as I'm sure you were following. And there's 2 schools of thought. Obviously, there was an article written by somebody earlier this week that, nobody's really batting an eye at this behind the scenes of the board of trustees and all that. That's pretty much business as usual. But then there's people saying, no, the right people are pissed off now, and a lot of movements happening behind the scene. Without giving away too much, obviously, what are you hearing? Kind of what's happening behind the scene. Can you give us like a little hint of that?
Yeah, I mean, the right people are pissed off. The question becomes, can the right people convince the people that don't care that changes need to be made? I think that's the stage we're at now. The right people are pissed off, but a couple people on the board have to talk to the rest of the board and get them on board.
Yeah.
So we'll see what ends up happening. That's why it's kind of what you said about it. You almost want them to tank just to kind of force change. I think what happened on game day today definitely benefited the program because they're now a laughing stock, and I don't think people are going to like that they're talked about that like that.
It's almost, yeah. But with the stories I've heard over the years about the people in charge, it's like they're almost unfazed by it. Like I heard a story. I'm sure you know this one, that Jim Larinaga, obviously he's well known in the college basketball world, and he wanted the Miami job. He had to submit his resume and all that stuff, and submit film or whatever, because the people in charge had never heard of him.
Yeah, it's bad.
which is like, that's how out of touch they are. So I don't know, man. For all athletics, baseball, football, basketball, it's change needs to be made. I don't know if the AD by Blake James, I don't know if he really is the culprit or if he's just kind of, a puppet right now. I don't know. Whatever the problem is, it needs to change.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think it would be beneficial if we brought somebody in that cared about football, that has power to make his decisions. Um, if Blake James were to hire somebody to run the football program and that person didn't have to report to Blake James, I think Blake James has an opportunity to keep his job. Do I want that to happen? No, but I would rather that happen than him keep his job and him making the decisions still. So, if he went out and hired somebody like Alonzo Highsmith or someone along those lines to run the football program that has full control over decisions on the football program, doesn't have to ask Blake James for permission or anything along those lines. I think that would be, majorly beneficial if we're not just hiring a new AD.
Yeah, I would. Flo talked about this before. I would love if there was kind of like an AD just for football. You know what I mean? Because I heard it has worked in other places, and I foot college football has become such big business. It's like you need someone just focusing on that, because I don't know how an athletic director honestly can handle everything, because it's not just football. People got to remember it's tennis, wrestling, field hockey. Like they handle everything. I mean, those don't take as much time, obviously, but yeah, I kind of like the idea of a guy just in charge of football. Anthony, what's up? Please hit the like button, folks. Max woke up very, very early for this, so show us some love, share the video, hit subscribe. I don't know why people want Bill O'Brien. I don't want no NFL coaches as head coach. They will leave too fast for a real rebuild. Well, remember, Bill O'Brien was the head coach at Penn State, and I know Max. This is one of the guys that you liked, right?
I wouldn't be opposed to him being the head coach. He's not in my top 5 though.
Yeah. Who is your top 5 right
That's tough. The other Cuban is definitely number 1.
now?
For those who don't know, that's Mario Cristobal. It's an inside joke between us folk. He's definitely number 1. Number 2 would be Lane Kiffin. 3 would probably be Hugh Freeze over at Liberty. Was a former coach at Ole Miss. Number 4 for me is actually an interesting one. I said it on the Board of Trustees meeting that we had on Wednesday on the Canes Inside
The
Show.
real Board of Trustees meeting.
Yeah, it's a name nobody's mentioned, and it's a guy that I've been following just because he almost got the head coaching job with the Los Angeles Chargers this past offseason, and that's Brian Dable. He's the former offensive coordinator for Alabama in about I think 2017. He's now the offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills, and everybody's seen that offense. So that's a name that's been in the college football ranks. He's been, you know, interviewing for head coaching positions in the pros, which means he's well respected. So that would probably be number 4 for me. And number 5 probably would be Billy Napier over at Louisiana.
Yeah, because there were some teams, COVID played a bit of a part in it because some teams started their season late because of the conference and all that. But there were a few teams that kind of had kind of a Cinderella season last year. Louisiana's one of them. Liberty, I think, was another one that had a really solid year. They had a bunch of wins. There was Coastal Carolina, of course, and BYU. A lot of people like the guy from Coastal Carolina also. But I would have to say my top 5 looks very similar. I really like Hugh Freeze. I really like The only one of the ones I would switch, I would think, is Mark Stoops. Mark Stoops is one of my favorites. Obviously, Mario's number 2 for me, believe it or not. Luke Fickell's number 1 for me, just because, I mean, doing it with, a lower tier of talent, obviously, at Cincinnati. Look at all the winning he's been doing. And this is huge for me, being prepared for a big game. He had his boys ready for that. I want to say it was the Peach Bowl, Sugar Bowl, whatever bowl game they played Georgia in.
Mm-hmm.
They were they really should have won that game if not for they should have just kept running the ball at the end and run more clock. And an insane play by Tyreek Stevenson at the end. But honestly, I would love Luke Fickell. So for me, Fickell, Cristobal, Freeze, Stoops, or the guy from Louisiana. And the one coordinator I would consider, honestly, more than Brian Dable even, would be Joe Brady.
Yeah, the problem with Brady is he doesn't want to coach in college.
Oh, he's already come out and said that?
It's been well documented that he hates recruiting.
Well, that's not good.
Yeah, especially as a head coach.
Yeah. That's the only thing, and that's the only thing that scares me with Brian Dable. I know he has had experience now at the college level with Alabama, so. But yeah, that's the risk you run with a coordinator. Is like, can they be the man in charge? Can they be that CEO type? That's why I think it's an easier transition in the NFL to go from genius OC to head coach, because you can just be that guy with the clipboard calling plays. You don't have to do all this extra stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's as far as coordinators, those would be the only guys I would consider. Other than that, it's got to be an experienced guy. But yeah, let's see what they're saying here. Can Fickell recruit South Florida though? I'll let you feel that one. What do you think about that?
That's the problem, right? It's the same problem with Matt Campbell over at Iowa State. He's a Midwest guy, doesn't really recruit South Florida. He's a yes sir, no sir. It's hard to say. I'll tell you that Matt Campbell would not be successful at Miami. I don't even think he would take the job because he knows he wouldn't be successul here. So really? I don't know if Fickell is in that same boat. I would have to do more research on him. But I know Matt Campbell probably wouldn't be great here just because he's a total Midwest guy. Like his dream is to stay in the Midwest and doesn't really recruit South Florida. So, you kind of got to get a guy with a little bit of ties, has some experience recruiting that area. And I'm not sure about Fickell though.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things you don't know it until they come down here and show their recruiting chops and show what they can do. My thought process is on a guy like that. I mean, I'm sure they've grabbed South Florida athletes here and there. Almost.
Cincinnati definitely has, yeah.
Yeah, so it's nowadays everybody grabs a guy or two from South Florida. They try to at least. So, and Luke Fickell's a young guy. I think he's like in his 40s. I think he's got some time left in his prime as a coach. So I think he would do fine. Another guy, T is saying Greg Schiano. I think that's who we met. Greg Schiano, who was the former defensive coordinator for us back in the late 90s into 2000 when we had that dominant defense. Had some success at Rutgers. He's back at Rutgers now. But he hasn't had great success in recent years. What do you think about Greg Schiano as a figure?
Well, he's completely turned that Rutgers program around already, and this is like his second, maybe third year. I wouldn't hate him. He does have ties. He's been here before. He's probably in my top 10, closer to 10. I actually have both of the Stoops. I got Mark Stoops and Bob Stoops in that top 10 as well. So I mean, it's a guy to kind of pay attention to, but at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure he wants to retire at Rutgers. I don't think he'd leave. It's kind of been the rumblings that he just wants to chill out, coach at Rutgers for a while, and hang it up. So
that is the thing with him. He is getting a little older, And, ideally I would love a younger guy. As far as coordinators, I did pop this on the screen earlier. What about, well, first of all, I think it would take the jaws of life to get Brent Venables away from Clemson. And it would take a lot of money because that dude's getting paid a lot just to call the defense. But do you think prying that dude away, like if it's a possibility, would that be an attractive pick for you?
So yeah, you got to look at some things when you're making your recruiting, or you're not your head coach hot board. You're not putting guys that you have a 0% chance of getting. And Brett Venables is a guy that there's nothing. The only way Brett Venables becomes a head coach is if Dabo Swinney leaves for Alabama or leaves for the NFL and Clemson offers him the job. He's made it known he doesn't really want to be a head coach, and I think the only place he would do it is with Clemson.
Oh, another dude I forgot about. Lane. Yeah, there's so many jumbled around in my head. I forgot about him. I might vault him into my top 5.
You have to.
You have to. Also, still relatively young coach. Yeah, he had his issues, with Tennessee and stuff, but that's a long time ago now. Look what he's doing with that offense at Ole Miss. Great proven recruiter, and Ole Miss looks legit this year. I know they were kind of, they were making some noise with their offense, but it didn't translate to wins really quite yet. But this year, they're making some noise. Would he be like? I forgot if you mentioned him in your top 5. He was number 2, right? Yeah, so that's one you would be happy with.
Yeah, he's 1B with the other Cuban. The other Cuban's 1A and Kiffin's 1B.
Nice. Now, say this scenario plays out, Max, and I talked about it on my little rant earlier this week. Say Manny Diaz gets let go during the season. Who would you put as the interim in the meantime?
The problem is, and Steve-O talked about it on the Real Board of Trustees meeting on Wednesday, there is somebody on staff with the assistant head coach title.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Jess Simpson. So to not give him those optics look bad. Who I would want to be, if that was not a thing, if we could just pick somebody on the staff, I would pick Rob Likens. Personally, I think the players would fight for him the most out of anybody on the team, and I want him to have a little bit more power, because I think him getting more involved in the play calling would be a benefit for the rest of the season. And on top of that, you can't give it to T-Rob, because T-Rob is going to be the DC. It's way too much. If Manny's on, then T-Rob's going to have to call plays. So it's not going to be T-Rob. He's got to be the DC. So if I had a pick, it would be Rob Likens, but realistically, it should probably be Simpson.
I think it should be Simpson. But as you talked about Likens, I was surprised at first, but then you talk about Likens and I thought about him and like, that wouldn't be a bad pick either, because the players love him. The fans like him. He always gives great interviews. I think he'd be a great personality to have at head coach. But yeah, kind of what Gage is alluding to there. Simpson has that pedigree as a head coach. He's a legendary head coach in high school football in Georgia. So he knows how to lead a group of young men, and he has that experience. And I think I would love his personality, like that hard-nosed, tougher mentality, to permeate throughout this team. It's something that's been missing since, the early Larry Coker days, honestly. So
that's actually false, though, because Garen Justice was a head coach in college football.
Ah, that's right. I forget about him.
But I wouldn't give him shit the way his.
Yeah, that's why I forgot about him. I wouldn't give him anything either.
He was the head coach at Concordia.
At who?
Concordia University.
I've never heard of that school. I know he had coaching experience somewhere. I didn't know it was there because
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
It's one of those schools that always they would always come out to San Diego for basketball tournaments to kind of recruit some of the under the radar guys. That's the only reason why I know about them.
So they're kind of like an FIU of that area.
Yeah, well, it's not even from they're not from Cali or anything like that. But there's a lot of good basketball talent in Southern California. So at a lot of the tournaments I would play at, they'd usually send out a guy. Same with like American University, another school like that, where they kind of just send guys out to San Diego to recruit some of the under the radar basketball guys.
Gotcha. Gotcha. All right. Well, see what Bergie's saying. By the way, what's up, Bergie? Haven't seen you in a while. If Manny goes, everyone else goes too. Yes, someone might fill in for the remainder of the year, but by year's end, they're all gone.
Yeah, that's the definition of we're talking about interim head coach. He's interim until the season's over.
Do you think there's any chance at all a new guy comes in and is like, you know what, T-Rob, you're one of the best in the business at DBs. Let's keep you on staff. You know, I mean, maybe they cherry pick and hang on to a couple guys. You think there's any chance of that, or it's probably just clean house and start over?
Oh, I definitely think there's a chance. When you got a guy like T-Rob, he's proven in multiple spots, right? It's not like he's just been good at one spot. On top of that, if it is the other Cuban, um, he has experience coaching with who? Coach Fields. Coach Fields was at Oregon with him. So that's another
Okay.
guy that if he's the head coach, maybe he's like, hey, the only reason that I'm not coaching with Fields anymore is because Fields wanted to go back home to Miami. So that's another guy. If the other Cuban is then the new head coach, uh, could potentially retain Coach Fields as well.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you think the only scenario the other Cuban comes here is if Alonzo Highsmith's the AD? That's why I keep hearing.
Yeah.
That's the only scenario.
Well, not necessarily the AD, but running the football program.
Right. Yeah. I think some people thought that when they brought in Ed Reed as chief of staff, that's kind of what he was going to be doing.
Oh, that was just a save face.
Yeah. Now I'm seeing that. I mean, we were all excited last year when, he's talking to the ref in that Louisville game and he got us a flag and, we all got excited. But since then, I mean, I'm sure he's the greatest safety of all time. He's a great guy to talk to for the players and all that stuff. But I don't know, culture wise, it doesn't seem to have made any bit of a difference.
No, it's one of those things where how much is he allowed to assist? Same thing with Shoop. How much is Manny Diaz allowing Shoop to help him? I don't have that answer. It doesn't seem like much.
Not really. How many guys are lined up wrong? How many guys are there? I mean, you're a film guy. You break down film with Steve-O. Do you remember the play against Michigan State? I think is when they went ahead by 2 or 3 touchdowns to ice the game. They had trips to the right and we're blitzing left, or we audible to blitz left. So we're coming around the other side and it was like an easy little slant for a touchdown. There was no one there.
Yeah.
I mean, you play Madden long enough, you see that opening. How do they not see that?
No words.
I'm out of words too. I don't know. Yet I have a YouTube channel, so I gotta keep thinking of stuff to talk about because when it comes to this current staff, it's like I'm done. I'm done trying to make sense of it, honestly. All right, let's see if we have any more questions. Bergie, do you really believe they'll create a position for football just like a GM spot and warrant the salary that'll go with it? I mean, it sounds good in theory, but I just don't see it.
Salary is not an issue. There was one member in the board of trustees that was willing to pay for Alonzo Highsmith 2-3 years ago on his own. The money's not the problem. It's Blake James being willing to relinquish control is the issue.
Yeah. And that's
got to cut his head off first.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, everything has deteriorated under his watch. It's incredible. There was a little spike when Mark Richt came, but
Yeah, and Larinaga, when he first got here, it was
Yeah, but he's getting older, and honestly, ever since the whole Adidas or Reebok thing or whatever happened, and we lost a couple scholarships a few years ago, I don't think we've really recovered from that.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, definitely change needs to be made. So yeah, kickoff, as you see in the upper right, kickoff's at 12:30, so we won't be on too much longer. Guys, while more questions come in, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe. Oh, and thank you all again for 1,000 subs. Much appreciated.
Oh, you hit?
Yeah, I hit it.
Congrats.
Thanks, man. I'm doing all the, they're sending me emails to do all the stuff, all the paperwork to, get monetized and all that. And this, if there's a super chat, please, if you're feeling generous, feel free. I think I turned it on this week. I don't know if it's showing. But yeah, and also, Max, you came on late. We have a new sponsor.
I did see that.
La Espumita. Have you been to Miami? Have you visited?
Yeah, I've been there.
Okay. You ever had Cuban coffee?
Nope.
You never have? Okay. Well, Cuban coffee in the form of a snack food, bites. Delicious. I pour it in my coffee. I'm going to get fat on these. They're delicious. There's Coco Palm. There's Original. It's my buddy's company that he started a while back, and it's kind of taken off. So I left a link somewhere in the comments, and I'll leave it in the description box. But please go check them out. They've got, if you're a coffee lover, they got cool merch, t-shirts, all that stuff. But yeah. So if you could expect one thing from, like, if you're like, okay, I saw this today and I'm pretty satisfied. I know for me, it's honestly great quarterback play. If the two quarterbacks come in and light it up and they look poised and confident, I'll be like, okay, I'm happy, because you know what? That everybody's putting all this pressure on the O-line. Great quarterback play and quick decision making helps the O-line. So I want to see that. I want to see them help each other. So I'll be happy if I see that today. What would you be happy if you see this today?
Man, I'm excited to see my boy, my day one, Ja'Kai Clark, starting at center, man.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
That's what I'm the most excited about. I want to see the young players ball. I want to see them get on the field, get playing time. But I'm real excited to see my boy Ja'Kai out there.
Yeah, no, I am too. I mean, we've been pushing for that dude getting playing time since last year. Unfortunately, it's he had that shoulder injury in the offseason, and now he's seen. I mean, from what we've all been hearing, because we all get a chance to chat with him a little bit. He says he's good to go. Is that kind of what you're hearing? That he's pretty much healthy?
Yeah, he's getting there. He's good enough to play. It's he was going to redshirt and just take the time to get full strength back, get into the best shape possible. But with Corey Gaynor being banged up, his number got called. So, hopefully he's where he needs to be, and I'm excited to see him play.
Yeah, no, me too, man. I would love to see him, big baby. Maybe our boy Ryan Rodriguez from my alma mater of Columbus High School. And another Columbus guy, Elijah Roberts, who he flashed a little bit. I mean, they should have left him in more. I don't know why they didn't, but flashed a little bit in that Michigan State game. I'm excited about quite a few guys. But
a lot today.
What was that?
He'll be playing a lot today.
Elijah? Yeah. Oh, I hope so. That dude has completely changed his body. He's starting to look like a DN now. But anyway, Dominique Harris, thank you for the donation. My first one. So thank you very much. Sending all the good vibes from Pacific Northwest. Love what you're doing. Keep up the great content. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. So yeah, we got football today, sir. So Max, I'll let you go. I don't know if you need to get a power nap in because I woke you up so early, but
I'm good. I'm going straight to my parents' place to watch the game with my dad, like every Saturday.
Nice. What are the other big games today?
That's a damn good question, and I don't have the answer.
Yeah, I've been kind of out of touch with that lately.
I know the other Cuban has a 10:30 game against Arizona.
Okay. Oh, late night. I'll stay up for that.
Gotta head coach scouting. I watched Liberty play last night, so I got to see Hugh Freeze coach. Got to watch Mario coach tonight, and probably will try and catch Ole Miss's game to see Hugh Freeze coach again. The big game today though is going to be Texas A&M Arkansas.
Yeah, I was just seeing that. Texas A&M Arkansas,
and then
Oklahoma. Go ahead.
The Notre Dame Wisconsin game should be decent.
Oh, that should be really good, actually.
Yeah, it's Jack Stone, former quarterback at Wisconsin, now playing against Wisconsin with Notre Dame. So
nice. And then you got Auburn's playing a cupcake today. Michigan State, Nebraska. That kind of interesting. Ohio State, Akron. UNC, Georgia Tech. Yeah, no other big games really.
Clemson, NC State could be a good game.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, because I keep thinking of Clemson as like the old Clemson just thrashing people. They have not looked good this year.
Mm-mm.
So, yeah, so a decent slate of college football today. No monster games really, but a couple really good ones.
I'm excited to see Frank Gore Jr. run for 100 yards against Alabama.
Ooh. Is that who Alabama's playing? Southern
Yeah,
Miss?
Southern Miss. Yeah.
Ooh.
That would be awesome to see.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing.
Probably not going to happen, but we can hope.
Honestly, if he breaks one big run, I'm happy for him.
Yep.
So, all right, sir. Well, I'll let you go because my ride is almost here to head up to the game. So, Max, let the people know real quick where they can find you, and we'll take off from there.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Max Kesselhout, KESSELHAUT. I probably should have just typed the whole thing out there. And you can find me on the Miami Flow YouTube channel. Just joined up with Team Flow with John and everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Dave and Rasta and Flo, and excited. We got some announcements coming soon, so stay tuned for that. And go Canes!
Go Canes, baby! I gotta go. My dad literally just opened the door, so I'm heading out right now. Enjoy the game, everybody. If you're going to the game, be safe. Drink responsibly, all that good stuff. As always, all about the U. Go Canes!